Okay, good evening guys. Welcome to today's market debrief. Okay, we'll start with the S&P 500 index. For the past 1 week, we are starting to see the S&P 500 index right inching upwards. Okay, testing this is recent all-time high price. Okay, roughly done during the presidential election. Okay, so it's slowly inching upwards. Okay, and looking at the indicators, most likely there are still a little bit more upside. Okay, and looking at the futures is rebounding off this so-called short-term support. Okay, happened during this. It broke this, and then it's retesting this support area, which is about 3590. Okay, so the futures market is rebounding. Now we look at the Dow Jones, right? The past few days is quite strong for the Dow Jones. Okay, it's making a new all-time high. In fact, previously, whereas the Nasdaq is still languishing, still consolidating. As I mentioned, that is this is currently in the short-term period, is the weakest among the three U.S. index. Okay, so most likely the tech stock will not be moving as much, as compared to the rest. Economy is recovering, the bank stocks are coming up, insurance companies and such. Okay, so but the thing is, we might be very confused, you see, because the coronavirus numbers is continuously inching upwards, or trending upwards, and we are not seeing like a flat line or coming down trend. Is trending upwards, so we are thinking, is like, how can this be, and then the stock market continue to make all-time high. Now this is the Federal Reserve balance sheet. Okay, the so-called money printing, the buying of bonds in the open market, and as of last week, 10 November here, is already make a new high. 7175. Okay, the previous high was around here, 7168. Okay, so they are still continuously printing money with their unlimited QE policy announced during the Trump period. Okay, so is moving outwards. Okay, they are continuously buying. So I think they might be thinking of more stimulus plan, under Joe Biden. Okay, so we just have to see what's the news that is to come. So because of all this printing, right, the gold is still consolidating. Okay, as I mentioned, it's going to take some while. Okay, but as the economy is recovering, the luster for gold seems to be abating. All right, coming downwards. So we just let it finish its consolidation first. Whereas Bitcoin, okay, I think a lot of US traders are getting more acceptance, of this Bitcoin usage on the internet and such. So this is also running on their futures market also. Okay, so this is the price of Bitcoin is running is rally. If we talk about, because of the money printing, right, we look at the dollar index. Okay, so the US dollar index is still, it looks weak. Okay, this type of formation is not really a base formation, it's more like a consolidation pattern that is bound to be that's bound to break down and continue its trend downwards. Okay, so this is roughly the support area. Okay, so if we look in the long term view, okay, so this is the dollar index weekly chart. So if we see the previous money printing policy, okay, starting from here, 08 crisis, the US dollar has been declining, the index. So right now is at this area, so there's actually quite a big distance for it to fall. All right, so if we look as compared to their 6 major trading partners, we have your USD, Chinese yuan, okay, with the Chinese renminbi, is dropping. Okay, it's still far from this 1314 area. We have our Swiss franc. Okay, this is 2011 where they start to have their QE. Okay, so there's still quite a big drop. Okay, so that's how we see the comparison with the dollar index. Okay, this is the US dollar, Japanese yen. Okay, some might be thinking, hey, is the US dollar getting stronger? No, since the US market is strong. My view is that the US dollar is bound to weaken. Firstly, is because they are continuously printing money, and why asset price goes up, the stock market goes up, is because their US dollar is weakening. All right, so that is that's my view on it. So there will be more downside for the US dollar. Okay, so for some who want to see the US dollar, Sing dollar, this is what is happening. Okay, you already break one major support here. Okay, and it might continue to move down with the next support at about one dollar 30 cents area. Okay. Now, some of our Asia index, like previously I've talked about the Nikkei. Sorry, let me use this. Okay, our Asian market with the Nikkei. Last week I already mentioned about Nikkei moving upwards, trending upwards, making its new 20-year high prices, and then this week is continued to rally. Okay, so likely the Asia market, Japanese market is likely to come down. All right. If we look at Hang Seng right now is at its resistance area. Okay. So the resistance area is between these two bars. Okay, so currently right now is already trading into this area. So we just have to be mindful about this. There's likely to be what we call retracement, or sellers starting to come back into the market. Okay, why? Mainly because this is quite a big rally. Okay, roughly about 2 weeks already. Okay, so people itchy hands, they want to take their profits. China market, as I mentioned, long time is bound to continuously finish its so-called consolidate between these two bands. Okay, mainly because the main issue between China and US trade war issues has not really been settled. Okay, so we don't know what Biden is going to do with this trade issue with China. Okay, so that's about it. So we look at the Singapore index. Okay, the Singapore index has been trending very well. It's already about 3 weeks already from the low here. Okay, the low here is been trending quite well, and then it's now going to test or just shy of its previous June high made here. Okay, the previous June high here was about 2840 area. Okay, so it's just about like 40 points, 50 points away from this. Okay, so we are entering into a area whereby this area, right, is where we will start to see sellers. Why? Because people who are here, who have bought here and got trapped, for a long period of time, June to now, about like 5 months. So they are trapped 5 months, and now it start to rebound back to their so-called buy price. They're likely to sell. Okay, so we are likely starting to see sellers, starting to come into the market in this area. Okay. So let's look at the Singapore market. Well, Singapore market, the main thing is still the three banks. Okay, the three banks, Singtel and the three Jardines. These so-called 7 stocks are the one that really move the Singapore STI index numbers. Okay, so this is DBS. So we start to see some sellers happening. Coming in today. Okay, so forming this so-called inverted hammer. All right, so we are already at a so-called resistance area happening. Let's say in previous. Okay. So this area is where people are trapped, or investors or traders are trapped pre-COVID times. Okay, so this is the COVID crash. So these people here, these sellers here, are trapped. Okay, so they are likely to start coming in here. Small profit or break even, they'll start to sell. OCBC Bank similarly is coming back to its this June high over here, about 995, 997. Okay, so currently today closed quite well at 990. Okay, so you'll start to probably similarly, okay, start to see sellers start to come in. Okay, but this pattern, right, this rally above this 200-day moving average is a very good sign. Most likely it's going to consolidate back, and yeah, it's a nice turnaround pattern. So let's say if, for example, okay, we just like to plan, let's say if we really hit this resistance point and pull back, where do we want to, where is our possible prices in which we can buy in? Okay, because some of us have already bought over here, you know, this area here between 840 to 880. We might regret lah, you know, some people might regret that they didn't buy more, you know. So when is the next chance to buy? Because this is a turnaround. Once everything recovers, right, it's going to shoot up very fast, like back in 2009, you know, from March to June, the price just keep on rallying and it moved very fast. So the most likely pullback area, first one is about 960, second one about 940. So you should be looking at this, right? If the pullback happens, right, you should be looking at this type of areas, 960, 940, to make your buys, make your purchase. Okay, so this is more on the trading on the long term, mid to long term kind of investment, you know, that economy recovers and share prices starts to move back up. Okay, so this is UOB. Similarly, it's also reaching its resistance area, so there's um, some area to move, okay, for UOB. So basically the three banks just move in a similar fashion. Okay, Singtel is kind of like surprised, know, that it had a strong rebound. Okay, I won't say rally, but more like a rebound. Firstly, because it made a new low, okay, and then thereafter it rebounded off, okay, and similarly break this downtrend line, which is a good thing, okay. So, but ultimately it's still trading below this 200-day moving average, okay. So we just have to wait for it to pull back, okay. This area is where it's likely to pull back to. Okay, 220, 222 area. So if you start to pull back into this area, look for signs that it's going to rebound or it holds, right. Market is good, you know, then you look to make your purchase here. Jardine. So why I'm mentioning, just mention all these STI index stocks, because market recovers, the big caps, the STI index stocks are the one that is going to move first. Mainly, a lot of funds they only invest in the index stocks, big cap stocks. So these are the stocks that usually you will start to move first, you know, in the market recovery. So this is Jardine, okay. As mentioned previously, among the Jardines three, this is the weakest, okay, and currently testing this 200-day moving average. We look at Jardine Matheson is the one that is the strongest, okay. It's after this rally, it already continue to make new high, you know. And this is Jardine Strategic, okay. This week start to break off, okay. So this is it's a good thing, a good sign. Okay, previously I've mentioned the properties counter. Probably because the past few videos I mentioned that the property index, you know, Singapore News has been showing there are strong demands for properties, new developments and such, and therefore, you know, property counter starts to move also, you know, nice rebound. This is a city development previously mentioned here. 620 is where the major downtrend line is crossing up. Okay, so this is a CityDev weekly chart. Okay, so this trend line has been tested several times over the past 3 decades. Okay, so over here, in 08, 09 crisis, the previous COVID crisis, beginning of the month, beginning of the year, somewhere in March. Okay, it tested here, which is about 615, and then the most recent one is at 620, around here. Okay, here 620 and here 615. So this is a good rebound, of this strong trend, of this strong trend line over at 620. So it's already tested this trend line that I've mentioned, where we start to see sellers coming in 740, 750 area. Okay, so you can start to see that there's increased volume here with a lot of sellers coming in. Okay, so we already start to see 2 weeks, 3 weeks of rally in most of the stocks, the stronger ones, the big cap ones. So nothing goes to heaven in one straight line. So we just have to wait for this pullback. Some sellers to come in, pull back, and then we start to see assess our options to whether to enter or not. At a lower price. Okay, Capital Land. Okay, as mentioned before, over here, Capital Land also seems strong, as a whole sector, sector strength. Okay, I think I've already mentioned before in past videos, so I've mentioned it again. Sector strength constitute one of the strongest component. Okay, so when you start to see a sector move, usually the whole sector move together. So previously I've talked about the tech sector. So when you talk about tech sector, we have like your venture, your IP, Valuetronics and all that. So once stocks move, venture starts to move, the rest also continue to move in tandem together. Bank starts to move, you start to see DBS, OCBC, UOB Bank start to move. So when we start to we see property counters move, all move or rebound in quite a similar fashion. CityDev, Capital Land, UOL, Hong Kong Land. Okay, so this is Capital Land, similarly also rebound. Okay, so this is cannot quite say it's a U-turn, but it's a very positive sign. Okay, mainly we have to also see whether it can retest this 324 area. It's June high. Okay, so this is Hong Kong Land. So similarly, like CityDev, Capital Land, is approaching its June high or previous high here. Okay, June and April. So if you look at these three property counters, right, in terms of relative strength, Hong Kong Land seems to be stronger. Firstly, it did not drop as much, okay, and it's very close to its June high, okay, as compared to Capital Land and CityDev. There's one stock that also similar, UOL. UOL also have this very strong rally. Okay, so compared to the other three, this one seems the strongest. Okay, as it has already is testing now its previous high. Okay. Okay, I've been hearing a lot about can we buy SIA? Okay, so I've mentioned many times SIA. Yeah, you can buy. You want to buy SIA, you can buy. You want to support Singapore Airlines, it's fine. But if we look at the Malaysia Airlines, issue. Yeah, Malaysia Airlines, Malaysia government will not let it die. But what you can do is privatize Malaysia Airlines. So similarly, Singapore Airlines, okay, it might not be it might not fare very well. Firstly, a lot of competition. Okay, budget airlines also coming in to get a piece of pie. And I look at the plane tickets. Like one ticket fly to Hong Kong is like what, 700 plus, and can go as much as $1,000. For the economy fare. So there is huge competition. In this space. So as I mentioned in the past two videos, instead of SIA, why not you go for SATS? Okay, but now it seems to be a bit too high. Okay, I mentioned about sets, now trading at the resistance here, the time over here. So thereafter it's already rallied, make huge gains, I think up 60 cents, right now about $4.10. So we want to wait for a pullback, before we look to for a nice entry at a lower price to enter into this stock sets. Okay, so the reason why sets seems to be better because it doesn't serve just SIA, it serves any airlines that falls in Changi Airport. Okay, and it's not just Singapore market, they have markets in quite a lot of Asia countries, in Philippines, Malaysia, and such. Okay, so they serve more airlines. I think there's a much better chance that they will recover first compared to SIA. Then last week I also mentioned about some of the um, measures because our government are looking to reopen. Firstly, Genting, okay, has a nice two big gaps, and also because I think some their earnings. Okay, so this is a very strong rally. It's a turnaround sign. So you want to look in the longer term, you can look for a pullback and to buy this stock. Similarly, Thai Bev, with nightclubs, KTVs, discos reopening. So this is Thai Beverage. Uh, Mentioned somewhere here on this bar. Now this week make two rallies again. So it's going to retest this its previous high done in June, also about 73 cents. Okay, so when you reach this area, right, you just have to be careful, that the sellers will start to come back in again. So I think the story is quite similar, in probably a few days time if the rally continues, right, it's bound to meet up with a lot of sellers, coming to the market to take profit or break even, get back their capital. Okay, so we just want to focus on strong stocks, that are likely to move as a sector. So okay, this is Escort Trust. Okay, Escort REIT similarly has a very nice rebound, after all the opening of the air travel bubble and such, so this is a nice rebound. So we want to look for a nice pullback, possibly form a nice cup and handle pattern, and then continue its rally upwards. Far East is the strongest among the hospitality trusts. Okay, this is Far East Hospitality Trust. Firstly, it's already broken up new high, past its June high. Now trading at about 65 cents. Okay, so this is more likely the price. I remember this price because we've been trading a lot around here, buying in all these dips, and then after it rally, and then it sell off here, take some profit, and then this thing happened. Okay, so this 64 cents has been I think it's a congestion zone. Okay, people are stuck in this area pre-COVID times. Okay, so this is the area. Okay, alright, so coming into this area, right, 6.4 half, 6.9 half is going to be a sluggish movement. A lot of buying and selling happening around here. So just be careful of that. Okay, so anyway, you shouldn't be looking to trading this. Just for those who have position. I remember some who bought here, some who bought here. Just hold on, hold on to it, and then you see how far it can go. Come back to 75, 77. I think you can take profit from there. All right. CDR Hospitality Trust, similarly, nice rally and then retest is June high. Okay, so among these three, or even the Fraser, as I mentioned, the whole sector moved together, right? So Fraser Hospitality Trust also had some movement today. Okay, actually yesterday, today I have some selling happening, but low volume, so it's still a good sign. All right, so similarly, it's all trying to recover. So another sector, okay, is the commercial and retail space. Okay, so this is a Capital Land Integrated Commercial Trust. Similarly, retest. So last week I mentioned that it's likely to burst through and test this 207, 208 resistant area. Okay, so the past 2 days have been testing already. Okay, it's test that area. So most likely we are like going to see some consolidation happening over here. Okay. So Maple Tree Commercial, then there's a nice rebound over here, and then it's retesting similarly. So sellers are most likely to come in again in this area, 206, 207 area. So look for a pullback, and if everything's still strong or what, you can look into buying into Maple Tree Commercial, for the turn. So it depends on your investment, whether do you have this or do you like this in your portfolio. Okay, so previously, now it's putting at about 3.41%, but previously pre-COVID times around here at this price is already about 4.5%. Okay, so um, if everything recovers, right, you'll most likely be seeing like 5% dividend, in this area. So give it about a year or two. Last week I mentioned about Maple Tree NAC. Okay, last week was trading somewhere around here, 91, 92 cents. So now it's already it rallied this week to 94, 95 cents. And testing this whole. There's a lot of people who are trapped here selling over here. Okay, so these are the trap buyers. Okay, trap buyers. So there's a lot of volume today. Okay, but it's still good. It's still holding just below this resistance. Okay, so I think next week might move. Okay, reason for that. Now, reason for that is firstly the Hong Kong market champion rate. Okay, has already broke off. Starting to continue to rally. We have the link rate. Okay, one of the biggest rate in Hong Kong also start to break off yesterday. And we have Fortune rate. Fortune rate is going to attempt to break off. Okay, so once all this starts to move, Maple Tree NAC, well, very likely is also going to move together. So some of the smaller move in the retail sector, Suntec REIT, okay, is also attempting to do a reversal, U-turn up. And Star Hill. So with the air travel bubble going to happen soon. Okay, so I think Orchard Road tourists will probably start to come back again. That's why Star Hill had some movement in the past few days. Okay, rallying upwards. Okay, or inching upwards. So, well, fingers crossed. We'll start to see. Hopefully, the COVID numbers stay the same. And then we can open our borders. Okay, some of the smaller stocks that has some movement. I think more in the manufacturing space. I have not seen this stock for a long time. Okay, so this is Hong Leong Asia. After all this consolidation, there is a 3 days move. Very strong volume move. So this I think is likely to be a turnaround. Okay, we just want to wait for it to pull back, and then see how it consolidate, and then look for the next trade. Okay, so I think this is quite legit. You can look at this for short-term traders. Okay, so similarly for the manufacturing space, this is Bolstead. Okay, it's trading above 200-day moving average, nice consolidation, and similarly past 3 days, three big rallies happening. Okay, so I think this is a turnaround for the manufacturing or engineering space. Okay, and for penny stock lover, I think last week I briefly talked about this Oceanus. Okay, so this is a nice rally, more like 100% move. Okay, from 8 cents to 18. Sorry, not 8 cents, 0.8 cents. 0.8 cents to 1.8 cents. Okay, most likely it's going to be turned around. I think the recent result was like quite extraordinary. So most likely we will have to wait for a pullback, a consolidation to happen, and then from there we look for a new setup, a new consolidation to enter. Okay, so that's all I have for the Singapore market. Hong Kong market, I noticed something which make me a bit baffled. It's the insurance. Okay, so I'm not too sure why this is AIA. From what I know from my AIA agent friends, since our circuit breaker open, a lot of them have been very busy. Busy not as in selling insurance product, but busy into helping customers do claims. So which means is that they are doing a lot of claims, they are paying out a lot of money. But uh, AIA is making is trending upwards. No, strong move, but a lot of selling. I don't understand this. No, it's a gap up, sell down, gap up, sell down, gap up, sell down, gap up, sell down. So this is a very weird kind of movement to me. A lot of red bars, but the share price keep on going up. Okay, so something weird. Okay, but nonetheless, it's moving upwards. If it's just one stock, it's fine, but it's like it's a few insurance companies together. This is Ping An. Okay, also strong rally, trying to turn up. The property counters in Hong Kong is also moving quite strong. These are some of the stocks. Hobson Development, very nice rally. Okay, so this is one of the Hong Kong stocks has been property stocks has been moving. Okay, whereas some of the other Hong Kong stocks that I've talked about, like Hai Di Lao, I used to talk about Hai Di Lao quite a lot. Okay, so but now it needs to consolidate for a while. Okay, after all this selling happening, right, it needs to consolidate. Similarly for their condiment section, Yihai. Yihai sell all the condiments, soup base to Hai Di Lao. Okay, so similarly it's been trending downwards, so it was going to consolidate for some time. Okay, so that's all I have for today.